Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next episode of Chronic Pain Club. We're coming at you a week later to tell more, what's the nicest way I could put this? Wacky stories of the lives of the two biggest girl failures I've ever met.
Hey!
Maybe I should describe them as my two friends with chronic pain, but I feel like girl failure is a pretty good description. So, welcome, Isabella. Welcome, Abhipsha. Do you two want to briefly introduce yourselves again, since this is our second episode?
Hello, I'm Abhipsha. I'm a 22-year-old nerd with chronic pain, because if my entire right side wasn't in pain all the time, I would be too powerful.
My name's Isabella, and I am also a 22-year-old and apparently a girl failure. That's super cool. Allegedly, I have a degree. Also really cool.
I forgot that you graduated.
Congratulations.
I literally congratulated you last week and then asked if you wanted to join a podcast.
You know, that's how life goes. You know, I get a degree and immediately I'm yapping.
I think you were yapping before you had the degree.
That's enough.
Okay, so in today's episode, we're going to be listening to a story from Abhipsha. Last week, we went really into why Isabella is sober and the absolute disaster that it was getting to that point, I think. You've been sober, is it 14 months?
Yeah, 14 months.
Yeah, so congrats again on that. But yeah, so this week, I think, Abhipsha, you have a story for us. Would you like to go into it? Anyone have any comments before we kind of, like, go in? Okay, hearing none, Abhipsha.
Alright. So, coming up with the story, I kind of just... This has almost nothing to do with my chronic pain, but I do think it's funny, so I'm going to force all of you to listen to it. And the thing that I'm going to be talking about is why every encounter I have ever had with a cop has been the weirdest thing in my life. It makes no sense. So...
That's because they're cops.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Fair. So I've had to interact with cops, I think, a total of 3 times in my life. And every single one of those times, I've come away from that thinking, am I in a sitcom that I don't know about? Like, is that what's going on here?
Have you been Truman Showed?
I've been Truman Showed. The first time I ever met a cop was in my living room of my old apartment while I was doing homework. And the thing I need all of you to understand about this is my roommates and I thought it would be really funny to buy a, like, giant tapestry of Bibble from Barbie, and it just has a picture of Bibble with a rainbow in the background and text reading, "A Bibble a day keeps the depression away." This is a thing that was just hanging in our living room, and I was doing homework in my living room when my roommate had got out to take out the recycling, and she comes back, and a cop follows her in, and the first thing in my mind was just, it wasn't me. Whatever it was not me.
Always deny. Always deny.
I mean, the actual, like, interaction with this cop wasn't that long. Like, she asked if I knew someone, and said this was apparently his last known address, and I'm like, yeah, I have no idea who that person is. Also, I've lived here for a year, so what are you talking about? And then she just left with absolutely no explanation, and I never saw her again. But the thing is, my roommate pointed out later, she saw our Bibble tapestry, and she said something really funny then, which was, I'm shocked that she didn't arrest us for that. Which is a fair comment, because every single person that has seen that tapestry has looked at it and just gone, why did you spend actual money on that? And the answer is because it's really funny.
I have found an image.
Yeah.
I have found an image of the Bibble tapestry, and I am going to put that on. For those who are watching in video form, I will put that in the video, because I have found it. I don't know how to send this to you guys without destroying my recording setup, so note to future self, fix my recording setup so I can switch scenes.
I just need you to know that it was the best $20 we've ever spent in our lives.
$20?
It was like a cheap-ass
I would pay a fortune.
tapestry. It was incredible, and I miss it every day because technically it belongs to one of my roommates, so I don't have it at the moment, and I miss it every day of my life. I do think that tapestry was the only thing that was holding me together through, like, the entire year or so that I lived in that apartment.
Apparently, a 25 by 20 centimeter variant of that on an art board is $20 on Redbubble right now.
That sounds like a great deal.
Bibble, too. You could get a second one.
Yeah, you could get an artboard Bibble. This really is just genuinely a picture.
And this is why.
We could have it in the background, you know? Actually, is Bibble?
Bibble?
Yes.
I think Bibble
we cannot have Bibble in the background.
Oh, I think that guy. I think
censored Bibble.
I think he's copyrighted too.
What?
My little egg dog in the back.
Oh well.
We'll have to censor him too.
I was gonna turn around and see if there was anything copyrighted on my screen, and I realized that all of those are just for those of you that are watching video. All of those are just pictures of me and my friends. I don't think they are copyrighted.
No, I think you're good.
I have my
I'm
Romeo and
good.
Juliet bag from when I went to see Romeo and Juliet on Broadway, which was awesome.
Nice.
And I paid a fortune for it.
I have no doubts. Tote bags are so expensive.
Girl, I meant the show.
Yeah.
Going to New York was a fortune.
That's true. I thought you were saying you spent a fortune on the bag itself. I'm like, yeah, merch bag from a show. You probably spent like $50 on it.
Oh, it was, yeah. And again, that was an American. I'm like, here we go.
Ooh.
But I was like, I already spent more than what my rent is to come here, so I don't care. You know?
Sunk cost fallacy. Once it goes above your rent, it doesn't exist.
And I was feeling,
it's not how it works.
No.
You know, a chocolate croissant, $14, you know? It's fine. I don't care.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Okay, so, Abhipsha, that's your first interaction with the cop. I've heard that there's more.
Yes. I'm going to skip over the second because I think that's going to take the longest amount of time to explain. And go right to the third, which happened in a club room where I was doing a lab report. Now,
Wait. Set the scene. What does it look like?
I'm part of a club at university, and we have a cool club room. It's great. There's couches. And I like to do homework there because we have a coffee machine. And since I'm an exec, I have access to the club between like terms, and this was during final season. And I had one last lab report to do. So I was just sitting here. It was just me. Well, actually, it was me and a friend, but the friend had left when the cop showed up.
Let's also create the scene. This is a long, thin brick room with a kitchenette on one side and just a bunch of couches and a table on the other, with the walls absolutely plastered in physics memes.
There's also a Calvin and Hobbes tapestry on like a painting, a mural, not a tapestry.
They have a counter on the wall that says days since last Wi-Fi complaint, and I have never seen it not be 0.
The max it's been is 2.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Because, fun fact, I'm a physics major, which means my club is in the physics building, and the room that our club is in used to be a physics lab, and the walls are surrounded by metal to prevent electromagnetic waves getting in, which means the room just...
Wi-Fi is an electromagnetic wave.
Don't bother trying to use... Don't try to use Wi-Fi in that room, it doesn't work. But that's perfect for when you want to focus, because I was just sat there doing a lab report.
Yes.
Now, a friend of mine had tried to get into the room and realized that the door wouldn't open, even though she had the code. And I kind of looked at that. I tried to open it from the inside. It didn't work. And I thought at this point, well, I have a lab report to do, so I'm going to worry about this later. And so I went back to doing my lab report until about 9 p.m., at which point I was done and ready to go home. And so I called a friend of mine that I knew was in the building at the time and said, hey, I can't get out of the room. Can you try to open it from the outside again? And so she did, and it didn't work. So she called the night janitor, who tried to open it with the physical key, and it didn't work. At which point, I was just sitting there thinking, well, I guess I live here now. And it's on the ground floor of the building. I could have just climbed out of the window, but I wasn't that desperate yet.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and started studying for my next exam because I genuinely just did not care. And meanwhile, my incredible friend is outside freaking out because she thinks I'm going to die in there and she's going to find me skeletal. I don't know why she was so worried. There are snacks in there. But
all a girl needs to survive. Snacks.
And
this is why we're girl failures.
Yes.
There's also a coffee machine. I was fine. And anyway, things escalate to the point where she has to call the university
the special constable
to get me out. To get me out of that room. I need you to understand that I am still on my laptop typing up notes for my next exam while this is happening. And I just get absolutely jolted by someone knocking on the window. And turn around, it is just some cop. And so I have to open the window and he's just like, hey, how long have you been stuck in there? And I'm like, a few hours. I'm fine. And then he tried to break down the door, but it just wouldn't work. Lab door. Hey, if nothing else, I feel like this is really good assurance to the university that their lab security is great.
You know what? True. Their lab security is so great that you can't get out.
I was
You
about to
can't
blame
get out.
UNB there. Wait a minute. Let's not blame UNB yet.
And so eventually, guy knocks on the window again, and at this point I'm just like, man, I'm trying to study here. What the hell? And so he proceeds to climb in through the window, and I need you to understand that the windowsill of this lab room is, like, covered with plants. Like, we have a little bit of a houseplant collection going on in that room, and we had to, I think I had to, like, hold up this gigantic, I forgot what kind of plant it is, but it's one of the ones that climbs up the walls, and, like, hold it aside so this guy can come in, and he's just here, like, in my 17 years of working here, this is stupid. And I'm just here, like, well, I'm trying to study. Like, genuinely, I did not know why everyone was so bothered. The window was open, I could have just left. But, whatever.
They don't want
he managed
students
to open
near
it.
the windows.
They don't want students near the windows.
I don't trust you near
ground.
the windows.
Hey, I've only fallen out of a window once.
What?
Real.
That's a story for another time.
I'll add it to the list.
And so he walked in, he managed to, with the combined force of someone pulling it from the outside and him trying to, like, with all of his might open it from the inside, managed to open it, and said, well, you can go now. And I was like, I was gonna be here for a couple of hours more, actually, but thanks. And he seemed very tired, and then he left. So, that was great.
I feel like you haven't solved the problem that the door got jammed. He just opened it and said, well, my job's done.
Well, we called maintenance the next day, and it turned out that there was just a little bit of the lock mechanism that had gone a bit rusty, so it was just kind of stuck when someone was trying to open it.
As an RA, dealing with doors, they're the worst. Like, although, admittedly, when I was an RA, someone did just steal the door one time, so I don't know.
What?
Yeah.
Like, the entire door.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then I had to write it up.
Yeah, you had to write it up. I have no doubts.
It was the worst. I was like, I had to call and I was like, there's no door.
Nice.
I don't know where it went.
It's just gone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I know hourly counts. Like, so within the hour that I was not there, the door got stolen.
Nice.
What? What the? I can't swear. I'm sorry. I nearly broke protocol. What?
I loved being an RA, and I could tell so many stories about that too. But we're not going to.
All right.
Shout out to the door thief, though.
I'll add it to the list.
Shout out to the door thief.
I don't know who it was, but you know what? Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out. I am happy to say that I did eventually make it out of the room, and here we are.
Well, you are here now, so you did make it out of the room. I do agree.
Yes. But let's go back to that second story that I skipped, which was by far one of the most weird things that has ever happened to me. Because this was last September, when I had to call 911 because I was really, really sick. That's a whole long story in itself.
That is a big...
But, so when you call 911, even if it's for a health emergency, they will usually send cops to your house to make sure that you're, like, alive or whatever. And so there were 3 cops in my house, and I was really sick, but it wasn't at the point where I was, like, about to die imminently. So the ambulance that I'd called kept getting redirected to, like, road accidents because this was 1 a.m. in downtown Ottawa.
Yeah.
And so I am sitting there in my living room with 3 cops in my living room, sitting on my couch. And all I could think was, I really hope my roommates don't wake up, because I don't want to explain what's going on. Because why are there 3 cops in our living room? And why are they just kind of vibing? And it was really great. Like, they were having the time of their lives where they're kind of just, like, chatting. And since they were talking about how the ambulance was going to take forever to show up, they said, you should probably pack a bag. And so I said, yeah, that's a good idea. So I just kind of grabbed a bag and started throwing things in there. And I grabbed my passport because at the time it was my only piece of government ID for some reason. And the thing is,
Can I just say, by the way,
my passport
is still the only form of government ID I have.
Nice.
I've gone to bars and whipped out my passport.
I've done that too, and the thing is, I don't drink all that often. So often I have to show them my passport to get let in, and then order a glass of ginger ale. It's really funny.
And that same passport got me put on a no-fly list one time. So I have issues with my passport too.
I'll add it to the list.
I need government ID, one that does not get me accused of carrying a bomb. Shout out to the airports.
Oh my god. Shout out to the airports. I have a few airport stories as well, and I know for a fact that one of them is on the list. So
I've been put in the special rooms at the airport that if you, like, you know when they ask you, like, are you carrying a weapon? I know where they take you.
Oh dear.
You
Understood.
know what?
I have so many questions.
Just Abhipsha, just continue with your story. We'll circle back to this.
But my passport is Indian, and so one of the cops, this lovely guy named Dan, looks at that and says, "Oh, you're from India." And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "I'm from Serbia. Do you know where that is?" And I said, "Yeah, I know where that is." And then he turns to his partner and goes, "See, people from outside North America know where places are." And I was just standing there like, okay, well, I seem like I've been caught in the middle of something. And they're just kind of bickering while I'm trying to pack a hospital bag. And I go back and sit in my living room, kind of awkwardly, in a couch that's way too big for me, and I'm kind of sinking into it, while some guy named Dan is bickering with all of his, two of his partners. And it just kind of kept going. Like, I think at some point, one of his partners made fun of him, and he just turned to me and went, "I hate cops." And I was just kind of there like,
"You're a cop.
Aren't you? You're okay, cool." And I need you to understand, there was, I think, an hour between me calling 911 and the ambulance actually showing up. So I got to know these 3 cops really well in that meantime. I think at some point one of them told me a story about how they had to buy this old lady McDonald's in the middle of the night because there was nothing to eat in her house, and he didn't want, well, except for one egg, and he was like, "Well, I can't really fry up an egg right now. That feels kind of sad. Hey, you want some McDonald's?" But
they would have hated to see the state of my fridge during my first summer, like, after university, like, first year university that summer.
Oh god. Yeah. But
and you know
I think the best part of this entire encounter was about the halfway mark of waiting for the ambulance, at which point things got kind of awkward and quiet because we'd run out of small talk to make. And Dan just went, "So do any of you have any good jokes?" And I kind of just sat there like, oh no, what's about to happen? And since no one volunteered, Dan did, and he said, well, I have a good knock-knock joke. And I'm gonna allow the two of you to play along with what he proceeded to say next. Alright? So, knock-knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo who?
Haha.
Is that it?
That was the joke.
Is that it? He just says
Yes.
ha-ha?
Yes.
What?
I was just kind of... I need you to understand. I am very sick. I am in my living room. I am staring at this cop named Dan, who is from Serbia, apparently, who has just told me the world's most whack knock-knock joke. Like, okay, thanks for that, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
I did laugh, though. I did find it very funny. I'm sorry.
You know what? We appreciate you, Dan.
And eventually the ambulance showed up, and I've never seen Dan again. But shout out to Dan the Serbian, because what the hell was going through that man's mind?
Nothing. I don't think there was anything going through his mind. But you know what? Huge respect for him. Because he was there to help you, and he did help you.
He did. So if
more
for
than a
some
lot can
reason...
say.
I was gonna say, it's ACAB except for Dan the Serbian.
So I am just gonna say, if Dan, who is from Serbia and works with the Ottawa police, is watching this, hope you're doing well. And also, what the hell, man?
We need to track him down to send him this episode.
I think I did send the Ottawa police a message. Like, I emailed them after this had happened, just being like, hey, I hope Dan is doing well, because Loki, he was kind of based, because half the things he's, like, I think at some point we were talking about, what I was doing. I was interning at a lab at the time, and once again, I'm a physicist, so I was talking about, the physics research I was doing, and he just went, oh, I'm too stupid for all of that, that's why I'm a cop. And I just kind of sat there like, Dan. Okay. Yeah. There was a lot of just, like, random comments, and I knew that I was very stressed at the time. And Loki, it was really nice of him to kind of just...
Yeah, it's almost like you were having a medical emergency.
Yeah. Yeah, who'd have thought?
Medical emergencies? Those don't exist here. What?
Those aren't real.
What? We all know that emergencies don't exist, let alone medical ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like
funny.
we're on a podcast about medical emergencies.
Of course not. That would be crazy.
The thing that's really funny about medical emergencies is, so there's a couple of
that
things.
They don't treat them like they're emergencies.
Well, but the thing is, even like when you're speaking to a doctor, the thing they'll always ask is, what's your medical history? And I always have to take a deep breath and go, okay, where do we start?
Oh, no.
Sometimes I just don't tell them.
I just kind of list off the big things. Like, I tell them what medication I'm on, and I tell them, like, all of the big procedures I've had in my past, and that's about it, because I'm like, okay, you probably don't need to know about the time I had a migraine in 2020, so, like, whatever.
One time I didn't tell them about my chronic pain.
The thing is, right, the other thing...
You'll learn about this eventually.
The other thing is, they always ask, are you experiencing any muscle stiffness or cramps? And I'm like, I am always experiencing muscle stiffness and cramps, so, like, it's fine. We're chill. We're having a great time. I will say, if you've never been in an ambulance, and I will clarify, I hope anyone that's listening to this hasn't had any major medical emergencies, but ambulances are, like, really comfortable, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know what it is about being in an ambulance, but I always feel really relaxed when I'm in one. I feel like it's either the temperature control, like, because they make it really nice and cool, or just the fact that paramedics are some of the funniest people you will ever meet in your life.
My uncle's a paramedic. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Shout out to my uncle.
Shout out to your uncle.
Shout out to Isabella's uncle, I guess.
There's a lot of shout outs in this episode,
Yeah.
I think. Shout out to the door thief, Dan the Serbian, and Isabella's uncle. Mm-hmm. Did I miss anyone?
I think you're good.
Shout out to anyone that I missed, if I missed anyone.
Shout out to you, the listener.
Shout out to the listener, because I'm sorry for making you listen to my life.
I think that's the... Yeah, sure, whatever. You can apologize for that.
I mean, fun. But yeah, I do hope that Dan the Serbian is doing well, because that was an evening and a half. I have no idea what happened for the rest of the night, because I think I fell asleep the second I got to the hospital.
Fair.
So that is my only clear memory from that night, is Dan the Serbian telling knock-knock jokes in my living room at 1 a.m. Shout out, Dan.
Have you considered that, that was, Dan was a hallucination?
I have not ruled that out. I have no idea what was going on. I genuinely just don't know what was going on that night. But I was
think
just
that's the funniest, scenario, because then the Ottawa Police Department is, receives this email from you, and they're like, there is nobody named Dan here, except that it's the police force. There's a person named Dan working there. So it's just, some random guy that, is I've never done that in my life. And now he's also, questioning things. So really...
I did never get a response from the Ottawa Police Department, so... Again,
Sure,
I'm not ruling out the possibility that this was just a weird stress hallucination.
Okay. And you know what?
But I also don't think...
Teachers.
True. I mean, low bar, but true.
Yeah, low bar. Okay.
It is... Yeah. It is... I do love the idea of it being just, this weird thing that I've dreamt up, but I also don't think I would have been able to come up with knock knock, who's there, boo, boo hoo, haha.
Yeah, no, fair.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming into our last couple minutes of the episode, so as I usually do, other comments from you two before we close out.
Please drink some water. Hydration is good for you.
Also eat something. Make sure that you're eating enough, like a snack or something.
You need food to live.
Alright, I'm gonna counter you two and say don't take care of yourselves. Just go do that one wild thing you've been wanting to do for the last week but are too scared to.
You know what? Do that too. Just do it well hydrated and well fed.
Hydrated, fed, with no sleep though. Make sure you're experiencing a fever dream while you do it.
No, my bedtime is 10:30. I can't be... I can't be saying any of that.
I have been going to bed at 10 p.m., 9:30 lately, and it is so nice.
Getting ready for bed at 9:30 is awesome, I will say.
It's incredible.
Disagree. I slept at 2 a.m. last night. Anyways.
Okay, well,
and
you call us the girl failures.
Wait.
Okay.
Anyways, that's all the time that we have for today. So thank you everyone so much for listening to Abhipsha's story about Dan the Serbian. Is that what we're going to name this episode? Dan? Yeah, sure. We're going to call this episode Dan the Serbian. Shout out to Dan the Serbian once again.
Shout out to Dan the Serbian.
So yeah, thank you all for listening. For those of you who are listening live, after this, you'll get the chance to listen. I think it's either after this or before this. You'll listen to the Secret World Society. You can listen to that podcast and this one on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, or CHSR 97.9 FM in French New Brunswick. So thank you, everyone. Thank you both for showing up for today's episode. And that's everything. So we'll see you all next time.
Have a good evening.
Have a good one.